The story that has shocked America, the murder of those two children in South Carolina.
Your mama loves you so much.
What happened just before Susan Smith drove her kids into the lake?
Please bring them home.
How can this woman go from victim to alleged murderer?
I'll never forget what Susan has done.
I love them very much, and I will be here to ensure that your death doesn't go in vain.
Susan Smith has been arrested and will be charged with 2 counts of murder.
First thing to do is depict the black man.
Susan has always focused on what's best for Susan.
October 25, 1994, Union, South Carolina.
There's a lady that come up that door, and some guy jumped into a red light with her car with her 2 kids in it, and he took off, and she got out of the car here at our house.
Then he's got the kids?
Yes, ma'am, in her car. And she's real hysterical, and I just decided I need to call the law and get them down here.
Get them going, Pam. They got 2 kids.
A 23-year-old mother calls 911 and reports a carjacking. For 9 days, a town searches the back roads and the water line.
Just muddy water, slick bottom, that's about it. There's nothing else down there, no rocks, a few beer cans, that's about it.
On day 9, the water answers. This is Tragedy Revisited. Before the headlines, there was Michael and Alex. Michael Daniel Smith, 3 years old, and Alexander Alex Tyler Smith, 14 months. And their parents are Susan and David Smith of Union, South Carolina. Susan tells investigators a black man with a gun opened the passenger door at Monarch Mills, Carlisle intersection, forced her to drive, pushed her out, and left with the boys still strapped inside.
Where this black guy came up and just opened the door and jumped in the car, and he had a gun, and he had it pointed in my side and told me to drive. And so I did. And when I tried to ask him why he was doing this or whatever, he just told me to shut up or he'd kill me. So I just kept driving. My babies were in the back seat and they were crying. I tried to tell him everything was gonna be okay. He told me to get out. And I said, well, can I get my children? And he said no. He said, I don't have time for that.
We can only hope and pray that the man who took our precious babies from us can find it somewhere in his heart to return them safely.
Flyers go up. National cameras arrive. Search teams fan out toward John D. Long Lake.
We're forming groups to go around the immediate area and distribute flyers that contains pictures of both the suspect and of the kidnapped children.
In the first hours and days after her call, local news runs live shots from the intersection.
I cannot comment on that. Maybe we will have some information later on in the day.
Cruisers canvass the streets. Volunteers walk the edges of the lake, eyes on the water.
I wish I could tell you right now that I had something that made me very confident in taking some of the burden off of our hearts, but as of right now, I don't have anything that gives me a great deal of relief that is going to turn into a development for us.
The story spreads. Televised pleas from Susan and David, brief podium clips, and living room interviews looping across local and national newscasts.
I would like to take the time to plead to the American public that you please do not give up on these 2 little boys in the search for their return safe home to us. That you continue to look for this car, these 2, our children, and for the suspect himself, that you continue to keep your eyes open, and anything that you see that would help to please call and let it be known. We ask that you continue to pray for me and my wife and for our family, but most of all that you continue to pray for Michael and Alex, that they are returned home safely to their mother and father and the family members who love them so much, that you pray most of all for them and that they are being taken care of and that they are safe.
Sheriff Howard Wells steps up to the mic, giving careful updates as investigators quietly tighten their questions.
Cost has not been a consideration with 2 children's lives at stake.
National morning shows pick up the case, airing short appeals from the parents at home while the search is still.
We are all very determined that we're going to solve this case, We're very satisfied that we're doing everything that we could possibly do, and that none of us are in disagreement about the way that we're going. And I don't think this case has developed or being run any different than any major case of its kind anywhere.
On the night of November 3rd, drivers winch her Mazda from John D. Long Lake. Michael and Alexander are inside, still in their seats. Confronted with the evidence, Susan Smith admits there was no carjacker. She let the car roll down the ramp into the water with her sons inside.
Susan Smith has been arrested and will be charged with 2 counts of murder in connection with the deaths of her children, Michael 3 and Alexander 14 months.
And confessed to killing her 2 young sons.
There's no reason on this earth for a mother to do that to her children. And I just couldn't believe that somebody could do that to their children.
I'll never forget what Susan has done to me and my family, and I'll never forget Michael and Alex. But forgive, that's something I'm going to have to deal with, I guess, further on down the road.
Susan Smith is charged with murder.
And it's here she claims that a black man pointing a gun jumped into her car and ordered her to drive. But this is where she made her first big mistake. This traffic light is always green, unless there's another car waiting to approach from a side street.
In 1995, a jury finds her guilty.
Said victim died as a result thereof. State of South Carolina versus Susan Smith, indicted for murder. That indictment is alleged that Susan Smith did in Union County on or about October 25th, 1990.
She is sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility after 30 years.
Susan Smith remains under a 24-hour suicide watch at a state prison in Columbia, South Carolina.
It's got me all puzzled now, because she failed it 2 times, and there's something wrong somewhere or another.
In November 2024, the parole board denies release. She remains incarcerated in South Carolina.
Today, inmate Susan Smith, SCDC number 221487, was denied parole. The reasons for denial: the nature and seriousness of the current crime. Her institutional record is unfavorable.
They can't let her out. 30 years is just not enough. This wasn't an accident. She deliberately killed Michael and Alex.
Some parts of this story don't move. The carjacking story was false. The car went into John D. Long Lake. 2 boys lost a chance to grow up. The gap still sits in places that never feel finished. The precise chain of decisions between that intersection and the lake. Why the lie pointed at a black suspect, and what that did to a community searching in the wrong direction. A motive that still doesn't make emotional sense, even with a verdict on paper. These 9 days are a lesson in urgency and scrutiny, how a single claim can steer cameras, patrols, and a town's fear, until evidence pulls everyone back to the hard center. Remember the names that matter most here. Michael and Alex should still be here. What's your take on this case? Drop it in the comments. If you've been drawn into this story, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know which case you think we should revisit next. This is Tragedy Revisited. Hold space for the lost, hold tight to the truth, and revisit with care.